Hi, my name is Claire Van Seth, and this is my presentation for proficiency scale for a performance assessment task. The specific class that I will be talking about is ELL World History at the high school level. So the class, like I said, is at the high school level. Typically it's 10th or 11th grade, but I have a mixture of grade levels because my students come in with a variety of credits. So I really have a diverse group of learners. The essential concept that this project is discussing is the elements of culture. And the elements of culture are these 7 components. So there's social organization, customs, tradition, language, religion, arts and literature, forms of government, and economic system. In each box you can see examples of what specifically the elements of culture are. So what will their finished product look like? A student will compose an original video using Seesaw to compare 3 elements of culture between 2 early civilizations from different world regions. So that's what they'll be doing. I like using Seesaw because they're able to respond with a video post as well as create their own video posts, and they can see all of the other students' video posts. So Seesaw, I believe, is a great tool for this performance task. Then students will respond to at least 3 other student videos using the AVID academic language script. So these are sentence starters that allow students to add information, compare and contrast, and really give them some ideas on how to respond to their peers. We use these AVID academic language scripts throughout the year, and so students start to get in the routine of using them. So like I said, these are the elements of culture that they'll be discussing. So what should a finished product look like? Well, in order to be proficient, they will accurately compare and contrast 3 elements of culture between 2 early civilizations from different world regions. So for example, if my world region was Latin America, I could pick the Aztecs, Incas, or Mayas. If I chose North America, I could choose the Ojibwe, Sioux, Dakota, Lakota, any of those ancient civilizations. I'll give them a time period in which they can start selecting the ancient civilizations. Typically, it's pre-colonial, pre-Columbus times in which we're referring to. So they can pick any civilization that we've studied from the various world regions, and they need to pick a total of 2 civilizations. So for example, they could compare the Aztecs and the Egyptians, for example. What would a developing presentation look like? Well, the students first of all need to understand what are the elements of culture and then describe different elements of culture from early civilizations. So that's one component, is understanding the elements of culture. The second component is really understanding the ancient civilizations themselves. So the first thing they would need to do is to recall the content vocabulary that pertains to that early civilization. For example, if I was talking about Egypt, I would use words like hieroglyphs, papyrus, mummification, and pyramids in order to describe those cultural elements if I was choosing things that pertain to those elements of culture, for example. Then the other component of understanding the civilizations is being able to explain various aspects of the early civilizations. So for example, the Egyptians created an extensive trade route along the Nile River, as well as agriculture, things like that. A beginning product would show little understanding of either the elements of culture and or the civilizations discussed. A really great presentation would include more than 2 early civilizations. So for example, instead of simply comparing the Aztecs and Egyptians, maybe they would also compare the Babylonian civilization, for example. Or if they were going into sub-Saharan Africa, they could include information about the Kush Empire, for example. So being able to talk about more than those 2 civilizations would be a really great product. So that is my proficiency scale. Please let me know if you have any questions, and I hope this was helpful. Thank you.